You're listening to Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn.
Every day starts with a broken heart. I must be too sensitive for this world. Well, I know it ain't right to cry every night. I must be too sensitive for this world.
He's had a career filled with twists and turns as a performer, songwriter, composer for film and TV, and record producer. For Ben Vaughn, the best part of the journey has been the colorful characters he's encountered along the way. His friend Laura Pocadello, who works for Sun Records in Nashville, wrote the names of those characters down and placed them in a hat. Each episode, she'll select names at random and let Ben relive the stories. No pre-planning, no filter. Just telling it like it was. Straight from the hat.
Hello, Laura.
Hello, Ben.
How are you down there in Nashville?
I am doing great. And hey, we got some fan mail I'd love to share with you.
Fan mail? Woo!
I know, from a listener. They have a very keen eye, too. Listen to this. It says, Ben, just watched the Punk Rock Girl video by the Dead Milkmen. I noticed a Rambler station wagon at the end with a Sonny Bono for President bumper sticker. Would that have belonged to you?
Yes. The answer is yes. Do we have a prize for this person? That's a great question.
No, but I'm so happy they spotted that. That's wild.
Yeah, the Dead Milkmen borrowed my car for the Punk Rock Girl video. So if you're a fan of that song or that car in that video, it's my car.
I also love that this listener upgraded Sonny Bono for mayor to for president, because that's the stance we take here at Straight from the Hat.
Oh, that's great. I didn't even notice that. That's perfect. All right, so into the hat we go. What do we have?
What do we have? Let's see what this next name is. All right. It's Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. Oh, man. A friend of mine was hired to videotape a birthday greeting to Chris Christopherson from Willie Nelson. And my friend looked at Willie's itinerary and said, well, the Hollywood Bowl is going to be frantic. But on Monday, he's playing this really weird, obscure American Indian casino outside of Fresno. Do you want to go with me? And we'll go on Willie's bus and we'll get this videotape. And I said, yeah, of course. Yeah. So we drive up and we come into Fresno and we have dinner, and then we decide to try to find this place. And it was really weird because it was in this valley surrounded by these two mountains. You go down in, and it was a very, very impoverished reservation where this concert was going to happen. And they had rented one of those air-conditioned tents that can be put up and taken down in one day for this show. It was, talk about blight. I mean, it was really a pretty grim place. And we were waiting to meet Willie, and we ran into Paul English, who was playing drums for him at the time, and is the subject of Me and Paul, the song. And Paul English is notoriously flamboyant, and he had this dyed black hair and this goatee, and he was wearing a cape. And he had a briefcase, and he was the road manager, not only just, Willie's drummer, he was the road manager. And just as a joke, I said, so what do you got in the case there? And he goes, oh, check this out. And he opens it up, and there's a gun.
I mean, he's a road manager. He needs that.
Yeah, and so here we are, and Willie comes walking up, and he looks at Paul and looks at us and goes, where are we? And he's looking around. So we went into Willie's bus, and there's B. Spears, the bass player for the band back then, and we hung out with Willie in the bus, and I had a little digital camera, and I handed it to my friend, and I said, could you take a picture of me and Willie? And he did, and it came out really blurry, which is perfect because it looks like we're both really high, and whoever's running camera can't even get it right. It was definitely, but I was not high, but I look like it in the picture, and it was really, the thing about meeting Willie in person, have you met Willie?
I have not.
He has this charisma that's really amazing. You can see why he was able to charm everybody into doing things his way, all these years. And he's got that radio voice. Those guys, Waylon Jennings was a very popular AM disc jockey before his career. And so was Willie. These guys were radio. And Johnny Cash was on the air, too. That's why when they're on stage and they introduce a song, like, it's really great to be here at so-and-so, then they even thank the owner of the place and all that. It's a tradition. Jim Reeves, too. These guys were radio people. There was no difference between presenting the show and selling a product and being a great songwriter and performer. It was all kind of a package for those guys. And Willie was definitely that, because when it was time to shoot the video, one take. Hey, Chris, Willie here. Happy birthday. Keep on writing them good songs, because we can't get enough good Chris Christopherson songs. Have a good one. And it was like one take, boom. And we're like, oh. And my friend brought all this gear, and we're done. We were done. But it was awesome. And after the show, he hung around and signed autographs forever. And some guy brought his guitar, and he signed the guy's guitar. It was really cool. And that was my only interaction with Willie, but it was everything I'd hoped it would be. He's kind of like the last of the country stars that still do things, that loyalty that country artists and their audiences have with each other has always amazed me, because even when the hits stop, Ernest Tubb and his Texas Troubadours.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of mine's parents, Ernest Tubb and his Texas Troubadours came through my neck of the woods. It was probably, 1970 or something, way after the hits. And the people were lined up. Every time he played, they would show up, and he knew their names and the names of their kids, and they would get autographs and pictures taken with him. And like when I went Waylon Jennings, one of the first things he said, he goes, "You're going to meet me for breakfast in the morning, right? Right here at the hotel." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So when I am now. Yeah, when I went to breakfast with him, he had invited half the audience, it turned out.
Yeah.
And they were like having breakfast with Waylon, and the whole
country is so weird that way. I got a front seat to that because I used to work at the Grand Ole Opry, and when I started to really understand like these older artists from Willie's generation who were like working artists who had their own tour circuit of these places you've never heard of, and still had this following, and then still like needed to perform. It was very interesting to see, just because I feel like there's so much ego outside of country music, or a different flavor of ego, I guess, that doesn't have that same thing in country music. There's some like je ne sais quoi in country music that's like very, very interesting, and Willie obviously has it and is like one of the main, I think the last of that first generation of modern country music who established that.
Yeah, there's a humility that is assumed is part of what you do, part of your presentation, and part of your connection with your audience is a humility and being grateful to have an audience. And
right.
Willie definitely, and he seemed to really be enjoying himself. It didn't seem obligatory. He just was, being Willie. It was great.
That's the weird part, is that it seems so genuine too, and it's neat that he was exactly as you expected that way.
Yeah, it wasn't like going backstage to meet Van Morrison or anything. It was
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Back to the almighty hat here. Let's see what they have for us.
Okay, let me.
Oh, this is. Oh, you got a hat over there too?
No, I got a drum.
Oh, your drum roll.
I got a drum.
Your drum roll.
One hat's enough.
Here's a good one. Alan Vega.
Wow. Alan Vega, probably the most artistic person I've ever worked with and ever known, actually, as a human being. Like a real artist, like a real true artist. Because he was a painter, and he did neon sculptures and everything before suicide. And my first exposure to suicide was pretty amazing, because I was listening to college radio. It would have been 1977 when that first album came out, and it was late at night, and they were playing Frankie Teardrop from the first Suicide record, and it's building, and I'm like, what is this? This is psychotic. This is like I don't know what this is, like a melodrama, what's going on here? And the music was just like, it was like, what is this? And halfway through it, the DJ yanked it off the turntable and said, we just got a phone call from someone asking us to not play this. So we're going to honor that, and we're going to play something else. So
whoa.
The next day, I went to 3rd Street Jazz in Philly, and I said, do you have an album by Suicide? And they're like, yeah, it just came in. I'm like, I want it. So I bought it, and I took it home. And, I'd never heard anything like that before. It's still ahead of its time, I think.
It really is, yeah.
It's still the music of the future, It just blew me away. So I went to see Suicide at a place called the Hot Club in Philly. It was the loudest musical act I had ever seen, and they didn't have drums or guitars. They were so loud. They had all this effects on Alan's voice, and he jumped off stage, and these people started leaving. They're trying to get out of there because it was really like an assault. Like when they started, it was like, and it was just like you could feel it in your entire body, like whoa. And people started running for the door, and Alan jumped off stage with the mic stand, and he stood in front of the exit with the mic stand in a horizontal way.
Like barricading the door?
Barricading the door and refusing to let people leave. And it was like,
whoa.
It was sort of like seeing Charles Bronson mixed with like a Puerto Rican gang. Like he was just so amazing and scary looking and menacing, and you couldn't tell, like, is he a street thug? Who is this? What is going on? Meanwhile, Martin Reb has the kind of glasses they give old people when they get cataract surgery, huge sunglasses, and he's standing completely still and just, and Alan is just hurting himself and jumping up and accosting people and not letting people leave. And afterwards, the club owner found me out on the sidewalk and goes, hey, you want to come in and meet him? I'm like, no,
not even a little bit.
I never want to meet those people. Wow. I mean, that was I had never seen anything like it. And probably about 2 years later, Alan released Jukebox Babe, that solo album with Jukebox Babe on it. And it was rockabilly. It was rockabilly from the future, though. Minimal, repetitive. The production on that record was really strange, but his vocals were like Elvis,
Right.
And I fell in love with that record and all the Suicide stuff, and I began to really appreciate Alan's voice. I really felt like he was a blues singer and that he should someday make a blues record, like a really cool midnight blues record, like that Charlie Rich stuff that was recorded, obviously, after midnight with a few drinks, that kind of...
under the influence, for sure.
yeah, like one of those where they turn all the lights off and they really, really get into it, And I just felt that Alan, with a live band, that should happen at some point. It was in the back of my mind, but I was afraid of the guy. I didn't want to meet him. Finally, I was at the Ritz in New York. I forget who I went there to see, and Alan was there. Like a friend of mine who I went with, she came back from the ladies' room and said, I just met Alan Vega. He's here, and I told him about you, and he wants to meet you, so come on. So she grabbed me, and so I had no choice at that point. I was being dragged to meet Alan. And he was the nicest guy when I met him. And he goes, hey, man, like, what's going on? So you're a musician, man. I want to hear your stuff. And he gets a bar napkin, and he writes down his mailing address and his phone number and hands it to me. He says, send me your stuff. And I couldn't believe it. Like, on the ride home, it's a 2-hour drive from New York City back to Jersey. And I'm like, I have Alan Vega's phone number. Wow.
And he wants me to send him stuff.
Yeah, so I sent him a cassette, and he called me at home. And he said, I'm going to play this stuff for Rick Ocasek. I'm working with him right now. I really think he should produce you. And I'm like, whoa. And I was a nobody at that time. This is, not that I'm somebody now, but I'm somebody with a discography now. And I wasn't.
You have a Wikipedia page now.
Yeah, I have a Wikipedia page. But I had never released anything under my name or done anything in the business. This will be 1981, maybe 1982. I was still working either as a landscaper or a paste-up artist on a night shift, so I was really not in the business at all. So this was a big deal for me, a really big deal to have somebody like Alan want to hear my music. And I sent it to him, and he tried to get Rick Ocasek to produce me for a while there. It didn't come together, but it was pretty cool to have that affirmation. And from someone like Alan Vega, like a guy who is really carving out his own thing in the world of ideas. There's only like one guy like him. There's only one person who would ever think of doing what he does, right? No one would.
Right.
Only he could. And back in about 1994, we finally figured out a schedule where we could go in the studio together and cut that blues album, because I was always telling him, Midnight Blues album, we're going to do it. And he's like, I'm into it as soon as we can. And I had made a little bit of money on something with one of my songs, and I used that money to book time for me and Alan to make this record. And I didn't know who I was going to use yet on the record. And Alan didn't want to know. He said, I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me who's coming in or what we're going to do. We're going to push record, and that's it. No expectations, no preparation at all. And I was like, whoa, okay. I've never worked this way before. When there's money being paid to a studio, usually there's a plan or some responsibility attached to that. It sounds like, whoa, okay. So I was talking to Alex Chilton on the phone about this because he asked me what I was up to. And I said, well, I'm producing Alan Vega, and he refuses to discuss what we're going to do, doesn't want to know who's going to be in the band or anything. This should be pretty weird. And Alex said, man, I love him. I love that guy. Can I play on it? And I said, yeah, but there's no money to fly you up from New Orleans. He goes, I'll pay my own way. This is great. I love Alan Vega. And I love what you're describing as far as the way he wants to work. Sounds really cool to me. I want to be part of it. So he flew up, and we recorded the Cubist Blues album like in 2 nights, I think, maybe, starting after 10 o'clock at night, because Alan sleeps all day. I had to figure out exactly when both guys were at their best, because Alex, a marijuana smoker, lifetime marijuana smoker, you got to get people who smoke weed at the right time. And
there's a window. There's a window you got to hit. Yeah,
there's a window. And with Alan, he would start drinking the vodka at like 10 o'clock at night. So like, okay, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out when are we on, and it was great. It was really, really cool. The record came out. Henry Rollins put it out, and a label in France put the record out. And we went over and played 2 festivals. And Alan, it was really funny because we recorded the record, and Alan never listened to it. He never listens to his own work. As a matter of fact, his wife told me that after he would finish a painting, he would paint over it with white paint and start over again. Yeah. And she had to yank him out of his hands before he did that. Talk about
a window there. It's like you got to wait for the window when he's done before he paints over it.
Yeah, like if she went out for, a loaf of bread, it's over. That painting's gone. Yeah, and that's how he was. I mean, he was incredible. He was a real artist. I mean, he really was. He wasn't like a guy doing it for the lifestyle or so he could have a cool loft or anything like that. He was in there when it was really a dangerous city, and rats are crawling over you while you're sleeping and all that. He was a lifer, a lower Manhattan lifer as an artist. A lot of sacrifice to be able to create what he created. He was the real deal. And so he didn't listen to the record. We finished it, and he just never listened to it. And then we got booked to play a gig at the Mercury Lounge in New York and a gig at a festival in France. And he didn't listen to the record in preparation. Alex and I did, and we kind of remembered most of the parts we played, or what the general idea was
right.
of these things, because they were improvised pieces to begin with. And we learned our parts pretty well, but Alan refused to come to sound check and refused to listen to the record, and he would just say, what's the song title? And I go, Fat City. And he'd go, okay. And he would come up with completely new lyrics on stage. And sometimes they were better than what were on the record. He was so creative and so in the moment, but he was also living in the future. Like the music that Alan made at the end of his life is still unlistenable to me, because I am not living in the year 2042 or whatever. The year that it'll finally...
I think it's further out. It's further out than that.
It's probably further out than that. Yeah, 3000. The year 3000, I'm going to hear it and go, oh, yeah, I hear the hook.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but, I mean, really unbelievable searching and writing the energy, creative energy, as opposed to even trying to tame it or use it even, just kind of like chasing it down and just being part of it, like hopping on board, not even trying to capture it, because he wouldn't listen to it afterwards, or he'd paint over it after the initial spark, Unbelievable guy.
So was he reacting? Like when you would perform live, was he more reacting or creating?
Both. He would react to what we were playing, the energy of what we were playing and where we were going. And then in his mind, I don't know, it's almost like he's channeling all this poetry. I really don't know. I don't know how he was able to do what he did, but
it's probably not meant to be known.
Or can't be known. But the funniest thing about the festival in France is we had to do when you play these festivals over there, it's really strange. The music critics from all over Europe come to these festivals, and so you do these press conferences. But you do them the minute after you get off stage, so you're still sweating. It's really like, it's really inconvenient. Like, you don't want to do them. Nobody wants to do them, but that's how they do it there. So they hustle you into this small room filled with 50 journalists and photographers, and you're sitting there, and they're lobbing questions at you. And what Alex and I did not know is that Alan had a history of sparring with European journalists.
Oh.
We saw it firsthand. One guy stood up and said, "So Alan Vega, are you this new group you have here? You are like the dinosaurs of rock, And I don't even think I was 40 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Alex was 45, and I don't know. No one really ever knew how old Alan was. I don't know, but Alan said, "Dinosaur. Motherfucker, is John Lee Hooker a fucking dinosaur? Motherfucker, I should take you out right now and fucking kick your ass," And Alex and I are looking at each other going, holy shit, what is going on here? And then another guy stands up and says, "So Alan Vega, do you admit that you are the father of techno?" And Alan says, "I demand a blood test." And he's yelling at everybody. He says, "Okay, let's go outside right now and settle this." He was just like, New York badass. It was really, and Alex and I are in disbelief, like, what the hell? And so we afterwards, we leave, and Alan turns to us and says, "Well, I think that went well." It was great.
On to the next one.
but one thing to Alan, Alan was a teacher for me anyway. He was a great guy to observe, and he led. He was really a nurturing person. He told me he loved me more than my parents ever did. He would always go, "I love you, Ben. I love you, man. I love you, Ben. I love you, man." Like, I call him on the phone, "Ben, I love you. What's going on?" He just, it was amazing.
That's lovely.
It was beautiful. And it was like, but with a thick New York accent, like a cab driver, like a cab driver who's also a poet or something, And he had this great New York accent, "Hey, Ben, And when I first got to know Alan, I was amazed that I was allowed to know Alan Vega, because I wasn't in the music business yet. I was working a day job, and so I was not in the business. And so I was amazed by anyone who was, and I was starstruck to meet people that were actually doing it and who put out records that I owned and whose pictures I had seen in magazines and stuff,
Yeah.
I was still amazed to meet anyone that was legitimately in the business. And so when I gave Alan my music and he called me at home and started encouraging me and everything, I made the mistake of saying, "Oh man, thank you so much. You didn't have to do this. I'm just a guy down." He goes, right away, he goes, "Ben, right now, knock it the fuck off. False humility will get you nowhere. You're talented. You're talented. You wouldn't have given me your tape if you didn't know you had talent. You're a talented motherfucker. Now act like it." And I was like, but he goes, no buts. That's it. Never again. If you believe you have talent, don't start shuffling around and pretend you don't, and apologizing for shit. Knock it the fuck off. False humility. It's a bad thing. It's bad for you internally. And I was like, wow. And from that point on, I'm not going to apologize for my talent. Alan Vega would kick my ass.
Message received.
It was because I was afraid of getting beat up by Alan, actually. but it was a great thing to say to me at that time, because I didn't think I was ready, and I didn't think I deserved whatever could come to me based on my talent. And he told me that was bullshit and to knock it off. So it was great, and I'm forever grateful to him for that. A beautiful lesson, great lesson.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you got a drum roll or no?
Yes, sure. Here we go.
This is a guy who looms large for me, and I really like your story about him. Tell me about Sam Phillips.
Sam Phillips, I was producing Charlie Feathers, 1989 or 1990, around there, for the Elektra Nonesuch American Explorer series. We were recording in the Sam Phillips recording service right there. Monroe, is that? Monroe?
The street over from
Madison.
Sun Studio.
Yeah. Which is a studio, I haven't been there in a while, but at the time, completely...
Oh, it hasn't been touched.
Oh, good, because...
It's very much unstuck in time in a very cool way.
Yeah, including the jukebox built into the desk up in the office.
Yep. Sam
Phillips' office. This is like, it's incredible. It's like what happens when a poor man gets money. That's what that place looked like to me. It's like, I can't believe I can buy all this stuff. Woohoo! And Sam went nuts. And he builds this postmodern, which it wasn't postmodern because it was actually built during that time. Builds this studio in Memphis, Sam Phillips recording service, and by the time I got there, everything was still exactly the same. I think the only thing added is they had a wall-to-wall carpet on the wall behind
more carpet.
Yeah.
They got more money, which means more carpet.
Yeah, and it had Sam Phillips recording service written into it or sewn into it or something.
Oh, the logo?
Yeah. Just a great studio. And I'm also a huge fan of Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, and Wooly Bully was cut there. So that was all I needed to know. That was almost more important to me than anything.
Hollowed ground, for sure.
And so I put together a band for Charlie Feathers, J.M. Van Eaton on drums, Stan Kessler on bass, who produced Wooly Bully and actually led me to the place on the floor in the studio where Sam the Sham famously said, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. He showed me right where it was, and I stood there and I'm like, wow, I'm here. This is the epicenter. So we're in Sam Phillips recording service. We're cutting this record. Roland James was on it. The guy, he played with Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
That's his guitar playing, not only on A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On and that stuff, but he also played on early Charlie Feathers stuff like Jungle Fever. That's him. And he had a weird, shaky tremolo, amazing guitar player, super modest guy. Played with Jerry Lee on the road. And he quit right before they went to England. And he said, man, all that stuff would not have happened if I was there. I would have told Jerry Lee, you just shut up right now. Because Jerry Lee was a kid and I was older than him, and I could talk to him like that, but there was nobody there to talk to him like that. Roland, amazing. And he engineered and also played guitar on it. And when he played guitar, Jerry Phillips would come in and engineer. And Jerry Phillips is a real trip. You know him.
Oh, yeah.
He was great. And I remember talking to him because it's that legendary recording session that happened where the Yardbirds came in and they had Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page in the band.
Yeah.
And they cut Train Kept It Rolling, I think, or something like that. And I was like, whoa, what was that like? And he goes, well, I just remember there being some good picking going on.
You're probably right.
Everything comes down to picking. And the funny thing about Nashville and Memphis is it doesn't just mean guitar. If you play piano, you're a piano picker. If you're a drummer, you're a picker, And if you make double scale, you're a super picker.
That's an elite tier for sure.
Yeah. So that guy's a good picker, but he's a drummer. You don't understand. He's a good picker. Okay. But so we're recording, and Charlie Feathers started out on Sun right? So,
Right.
and he disagreed with Sam, and Charlie was a very stubborn guy, and Sam wanted Charlie to do country, and Charlie wanted to do something different, because Charlie grew up in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and he was really good friends with Junior Kimbrough. They grew up together playing. And and Junior Kimbrough is the king of playing one chord until it just kind of mesmerizes you and turns into a trance, right? Just unbelievable. Junior Kimbrough, and Charlie, that was his inclination, but Sam forced him to sing country music, and they really did not get along, and Charlie left and went over to a couple other labels and cut rockabilly records in a genre that has yet to be named, because it's Charlie Feathers music.
Uncategorized music, for sure.
Uncategorizable. So they had a falling out, and Charlie Feathers had this story he would tell everyone for years and years. Sam Phillips, he offered me $1 million to come back, and I said, no, Sam, I don't want to do that. And Sam Phillips, and if I ever see that guy again, I'm going to punch him in the face. Or he just had all these, legendary.
Yeah, he had a stance, yeah.
He did, and he told it to a lot of people, and to the point where people didn't believe that Charlie was there in the beginning. And he really was there in the beginning, before Elvis,
Yeah.
And so one day, I'm standing outside taking a break, and Sam Phillips comes walking up with a garden hose. He's wearing these sweats, like the workout outfit, the velour,
Yeah.
and with SCP monogrammed into it. And he's got the beard, and he's got the amber shades.
Glasses?
Yeah. And he's walking up with a hose, and I'm going, you're Sam Phillips? He goes, yeah. I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm taking care of the hedges. I'm like, why you? And he goes, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. And I was like, so I said to him, I said, do you know who's working in here today? Who's in the studio recording? He goes, no. Who's in there? I said, Charlie Feathers. He goes, oh, goddamn. So he turns the hose off and goes, I got to come in and say hi to him. It's been years. And he comes in, and Charlie is just like in shock that Sam's in the building. And they get together, and they're talking, and they're sharing a bunch of laughs. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting, really interesting to watch, because Charlie Feathers almost made a career out of telling people that Sam Phillips ripped them off or whatever,
Yeah.
And Sam begged him to come back. The story would vary, and there they are just shaking hands and sharing a bunch of laughs and everything. It was really great to see. I don't know if the hatchet was buried, but Sam, I had a really good long conversation with him in the break room, where they had a soda machine that said Rock and Rolla Cola.
Perfect.
Like hand painted by somebody from Memphis in 1959 or something.
Yeah.
And Sam was telling me about the early days of Sun, when he was pretty much the majority of the artists that he recorded were black, and how much shit he got from people in Memphis for doing that, for working with and promoting black artists. And Sam was unbelievable, because the way he would say it was a spiritual mission. He would say, you put a microphone in a studio and get someone in, and what you're recording is not just music, it's that person's soul. And he would say it like a preacher, and I'm sure you are aware of this, but there are recordings, anyone who's listening to this, if you hear these recordings of Sam talking about the music of the spheres and the sound of a person's soul and all that, it's really cool. It's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah. He was eccentric, Sam Phillips. If you look at the entire, like, you and I met because of Sam Phillips' catalog, really.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
Because I was brought in to do one of the compilations for the 70th anniversary, right? Is that what it was?
The 70th, yep. Mm-hmm.
And you gave me access to the entire catalog of Sun stuff. And I was blown.
If people ask nicely, will get the access. I mean, it's such a cool thing to be able to have the keys to that. And there's so many, you did such a good job of finding things that are not as well known, whether like the artists aren't as well known, or they're, strange cuts by artists who are well known too.
Well, what I discovered is there was a Sun Underground. I mean, that's what I called the thing that did. And because it was like this unknown level of eccentric choices by Sam. Like, yeah, let's bring these people in. He was really, just a great American dreamer, And the permission he gave himself to be Sam Phillips and just go his own way, and especially in the face of racism and everything else. Man, what a believer, what a believer in the creative spirit and a believer in creative energy. And it would be easy to dismiss him as just another record guy who made a lot of money on Elvis or whatever, although I think
not at all.
No,
he's truly some sort of force of nature, honestly. And like when you do listen to everything he did, and then also just the way, like you mentioned, how he talks about it, it's hard to believe he was even real. Like, I remember the first time I went to Sun's studio, we brought in some artists to record there, and just standing in the control room, I was like thinking about the hours that he spent in there and spent in that room, and I was just like blown away. He truly is some sort of like supernatural being, and most people that you talk to about him would agree.
Oh, yeah. Just an amazing, original, more than a music man, for sure. A philosopher, a spiritual, not leader, because that sounds too coldish.
Mind or something.
Yes,
and
yeah.
We're also talking about 1950s Memphis.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a complicated guy, a very complicated guy. And, with that comes a lot of flaws, too. He was business-wise a little crazy, kind of spread himself too thin almost immediately,
Yeah.
And he built a jukebox into his desk, so there you go.
Exactly. That's where it can all end up for you,
Yeah, but the world is better off because Sam Phillips existed. And because he followed his heart. We're definitely better off.
And to what he said to you, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And that's what he did.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to go water the hedges. This is over. I'll see you.
Enough of this.
Yes.
Okay. To the song hat, it's that time of the show for a little musical send-off. I'm excited for this.
Sorry, I'm tuning my guitar. I was tuning. I want to be professional,
Yeah. That sounds professional for sure.
Yeah, it's close enough. What do we have?
The hat knew we were talking about professionalism, I guess. This is a good one. When Losers Rule the World.
Oh, man. That's a song I co-wrote with Rodney Corral. We got together probably around 1990, I think. I went to a celebrity basketball tournament for charity in Nashville. And
went to or played in?
No, I didn't play in it.
Okay.
But Rodney Corral played. Very good basketball player, very, very competitive guy. But also, who's that guy? Gary Morris.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't lived until you've seen him play basketball. I'm telling you. Anyway, I went there with Bill Lloyd, and he introduced me to Rodney, and Rodney had bought one of my albums and was a fan of my music, which stunned me, really, Like, how did this happen? So Rodney and I got together and started writing songs, and we came up with this one. It's called When Losers Rule the World, and he recorded it with a band he had for a while called the Cicadas. So there is a version out there, but he's not singing it. The drummer is, for some reason. And Rodney still does it in concert every now and then, but this is my take on it. We wrote this when he was still married to Roseanne Cash, so it was really cool because she would come into the room every now and then and go, it's getting there. It's getting there. And then she would leave. And I remember one of her kids was listening to the third Velvet Underground album while I was there. That's a strange memory. I just remembered that. Yeah. So here it is. I'm going to move the mic here and got the capo on. Everything is good here. When losers rule the world, I'll be a prince among men. When losers rule the world, I'll be a big shot then. And I'll raise my glass to the past that made me what I am. When losers rule the world. losers rule the world, I'll walk with my head held high. When losers rule the world, they'll applaud every time I cry. And the tears that fall will make men all feel humble at my side. When losers rule the world, my moment in the sun, I know will surely come. A million eyes will see what you've done to me. When losers rule the world. When losers rule the world, I'm the man who would be king. When losers rule the world, all the songs their children sing will tell the tale of how I fell when I lost everything. When losers rule the world, when losers rule the world, when losers rule the world.
You have just enjoyed another installment of Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn. To learn more about the names drawn from the hat for this episode, please visit straightfromthehat.com. Don't forget to tell a friend about this podcast. And please, subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice.